Hello everyone and welcome back to the GeekWave. This is the low budget show. It's the show so low it has a budget. But maybe we're gonna get $200 million just to screw around and remake something you're familiar with. That's right, folks. It's time to talk about Disney for a minute. And I don't know why. Just in a pissy mood. Want to talk about some crap. I love it because I know it's because we have two trailers to talk about for two upcoming movies from Disney that are very, very interesting, and I don't know why we're here in this part of our lives, but here we go. It's gonna be fun. Disney talk, and then some cool things to talk about in terms of the news. You guys know how it goes. It's pretty fun. You guys like movies? If your favorite movie of the past 3 years has been a Disney live-action remake, please leave it in the comments below or email me and tell me why you think any of those movies are the best film of the past couple of years. Curious to know if there's any staying power from any of them. I'm genuinely curious, but you know what? We don't need to get into this right now. That's topic for past the news segment, which we're going to get to the news right now, but I guess it is kind of related to the news, because the first thing we're talking about is the trailer for Peter Pan and Wendy, the newest live-action remake of a Disney classic coming straight to their streaming service. We had Pinocchio very recently, Disenchanted after Pinocchio, Chip and Dale, and was there another one? I don't remember. Those were the ones that were straight to streaming. Now we have Peter Pan and Wendy, and it's just it's Peter Pan and Wendy. Do you guys remember that? Do you guys remember that story? Do you remember Peter Pan, that character that everyone loves? Serious question again. Do kids today care about Peter Pan? I don't think so. I can't imagine. It's a tale that stays around, you know? I don't think like Peter Pan's the one that like breaks into every generation. The fox-looking Robin Hood, I can see that. I cannot see it being Peter Pan. But new Peter Pan, Jude Law as Captain Hook or something, I guess that's exciting. I don't know. It looks fine. I think the poster's ugly. It's going to be interesting to see how well this does, because I don't imagine it's going to be like a top seller for anybody. But cool. You know, we got actors playing Peter Pan. We got Tinkerbell. Everyone's there. Everyone you love's there. The whole crew is there. But yeah, okay, let's move away and let's talk about the other live-action remake. This time not based off of a cartoon, it's based off a theme park ride because the Haunted Mansion trailer has dropped for us to view. And I am once again like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Is this interesting? This one, surprisingly, is getting a theatrical release, which is strange because you'd think a more like niche property like the theme park ride would do better on a streaming service. But no, we're going to be doing a movie. The movie will star Rosario Dawson and Lakeith Stanfield, and Jamie Lee Curtis will pop up in it, and Danny DeVito is in it. And yeah, haunted house. You remember like a mansion that's haunted? It's like that, but it's probably not as fun. I've been on the Haunted Mansion ride. I think it's a cool ride. And the narrative is so like, you know, paper thin that it works for an amusement park ride. But trying to dive into that is so specifically for nobody that it feels like it's kind of lame. Also, Jared Leto is the Hatbox Ghost or something. And you have to ask the question, why? Why? Because I don't want him in this. I don't want him in Tron either. What is Jared Leto doing? What does he know about the world where he can do everything he wants? It's kind of annoying. But who knows? It's cool. So The Haunted Mansion, another movie. There was the original one with Eddie Murphy from 20 years ago, I want to say. Was that like a 2002 release around there or something? Man, we really ran out of properties, haven't we? Which we'll come back to in a bit here. I can't imagine having like an actual like idea for a Haunted Mansion movie that's not just we have to do it because people know it's a property, you know? That's all it feels like. But cool, I guess. That's kind of is that exciting? Does that excite you? Do the kids get excited for that? Because it was never like Pirates of the Caribbean where it was like look at like this huge like ensemble we made of like a franchise that people can relate outside of the theme park ride. It's too specific. Even the Muppets did one, but it was like connected to the theme park. So what are we doing? You can't really I don't know. I don't want to bitch on this anymore. So we have to come back and talk about all of this very soon anyways. So on a similar note to the Haunted Mansion, I'm kidding, of course, we have our new HellBoy. So it was announced a couple weeks ago, HellBoy's getting a new movie. We have a director and a writer attached, and we have the plot, the crooked man, Jack Casey, or Kessie, however you want to say that, who, not a big name, has started a couple things here and there, has been cast as our lead, HellBoy, and good for you, man. I guess somebody had to bite the bullet, and it was you. You chose to do this. Why exactly did you choose to do this? I don't want to criticize your... I guess if you're, like, franchise adjacent, because he's a Deadpool 2 actor who was in some scenes of Deadpool 2, I guess the logical steps to lead one of these, and then you can get better stuff later. Like, I just can't imagine being a leading man in Hollywood seeking the role of HellBoy, you know? I feel like when you have Ron Perlman, it makes sense because he was already the weirdo, and that works for him. Harbor, I guess, kind of makes sense because he never had that chance. So, I don't know. Is Jack Kessie too pretty for HellBoy? I have no idea what this guy looks like aside from he looks like some white guy. So let's look him up right now as we sit here and talk. He's also 36, so that's pretty old to be playing a HellBoy that's close to the war already. He looks fine, I guess. Like a decent dude. Just looks like a nice man. Not greasy. He doesn't look greasy or like bulky enough to really be HellBoy. Was he Black Tom Cassidy in Deadpool 2? Is that who he was? Okay. Look, sure. What the hell? I'll allow it. Dude's kind of got a skinny head, though. Not sure how that's going to play out. But cool. Let's see. Is that him? Yeah. Oh, he was in, what the fuck is that show? Oh, I know that guy. He was, I know. Oh, yeah. What the hell's that show called? The Strain. Is that what that is? Was he in The Strain? What am I looking at? Was he the one in The Strain? Yes, he was in The Strain. He was that freaky looking son of a gun. Like the weird like zombie guy. Yeah, I'll put up a picture. No, I won't. He was the weirdo in The Strain, one of like the weird androgynous vampire guys. Okay. I knew the name sounded familiar to me for a different reason. So, okay, he's done some Del Toro stuff. Okay, I'm more on board now. See, real time, we just learned something about this guy that nobody knows. Cool. Next piece of news, let's jump over to the world of Amazon Video because we have a poster and a announcement for the final season of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. You all know it's one of my favorite shows of the past few years. I just connected to it instantly. Season 5 will be premiering April 14th, and I'm like, damn, that is so close to other prestigious shows potentially ending soon. That's like a month after Ted Lasso is going to premiere, and I'm like, that's probably going to be the last season. Crazy. But it's exciting. The poster looks great. Rachel Brosnahan looking fantastic. Cannot wait to get back into this world. I know we have like a COVID hiatus because of like COVID, but it's so nice to have this show coming back so soon from the 4th season. I liked the 4th season a lot. It was one of my favorite shows of last year. It held up incredibly well. I did feel it dip slightly, like the quality and like the story was like just like, you know, treading water for a bit. Saying all that, though, it's still an incredibly strong show and such a fun narrative through line I want to see more from. I think it's great, and I'm excited to see what all of those actors and creators do next, because you'd have to imagine there's something else in the works, you know? You'd imagine, because, like, what else are we doing? I don't know, it's kind of exciting. So, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, the final season, will premiere April 14th. And hopefully that's a weekly release or every couple episodes, every couple of weeks. It's great. Side note very quickly, I have been watching Daisy Jones and the Six, and it's a phenomenal show. And I want people to watch it because it's cool. Okay, next piece of news. Sequel to Detective Pikachu, question mark? It's probably been talked about since the premiere of Detective Pikachu, which was such a weird film. I remember watching it opening night, and I'm like, yeah, I guess that's what you could do with a Pokemon movie. What else would you do? Because do we want to see, like, Ash's journey in live action, like a Pokemon trainer becoming champion? I guess making one a detective and making it some weird sci-fi neo-noir movie works. I guess. It's such a strange movie. But a sequel to it, I'm all for. Justice Smith and Catherine Newton are bigger names now than ever before, presumably. I suppose, right? You'd have to imagine that's the case. I don't know. I guess, would we get Reynolds back, though, to voice Pikachu because he, like, became a person later? I don't know. Crazy. Anyways, I don't really got anything else to say on that. As we are speaking, I am looking at the poster that was just announced for the new Apple original film Ghosted, starring Chris Evans and Ana de Armas, and I'll post it on social media because it might be the worst poster I've ever seen. Just two actors who are hot, but look like they have no chemistry. Beautiful. Love it. And we have one piece of news that's kind of exciting to talk about. I think is going to be a really fun topic. So we have been waiting and speculating for a long time now. When are we going to see something for the new Ninja Turtle cartoon show, or movie, I should say, Mutant Mayhem? And we just got our first trailer and a voice cast. That's awesome? I'm so happy we got like a voice cast. Kind of exciting. It's cool stuff, man. I love all this. Like, when we could do something this fun in the world, it's exciting. So we have a trailer, and it was pretty good. But let's talk about the cast that they announced first. I am stalling so I can pull up the article with all of their names on it. Where is it here? Let's take a look if we can find it. So we have Mika Abbey playing Donatello, Shaman Brown Jr. as Michelangelo, Nicholas Cantu as Leonardo. He's the voice of Gumball, right, from The Amazing World of Gumball. I believe that's him. Brady Noon as Raphael. They will voice the Turtles themselves, which is kind of exciting. And Jackie Chan will be voicing Splinter. And I'm like, really? That's cool. I would never imagine that. That's kind of awesome. I guess he did the Kung Fu Panda movies, so it's not that awesome. Seth Rogen will be the voice of Bebop. Makes sense. He wants to be every cartoon warhog. I said that years ago that he was going to do that. And John Cena will play Rocksteady. Makes sense because in the Michael Bay movies, they had another wrestler play Rocksteady. It was Sheamus. So that makes sense. Let's get further into this list here. We have Hannibal Buress as Genghis Frog. Makes a lot of sense. Rose Byrne as Leatherhead. Probably my favorite. That sounds awesome. Ice Cube as Superfly, which is separate from Baxter Stockman, who's going to be Giancarlo Esposito, which is kind of exciting too. Natasha Demetrio, who is the female lead in What We Do in the Shadows, I'm blanking on her name, Nadja, is going to be Wingnut. They haven't announced Screw Loose, which is kind of interesting. Ayo Idaburi is going to be April O'Neil, which I do like that. I think we're seeing that. I've always kind of said this before. It kind of makes sense for like a modern Ninja Turtle thing that April is like a more streetwise teen character, and Ayo's having like a fantastic year, so it makes sense that she's going to be that character. Post Malone as Ray Fillet, and I'm like, okay, I guess. I personally don't want to see that, but okay. Paul Rudd as Mondo Gecko. Okay, is he going to be doing like some weird like dude and bros? Kind of interesting. And Maya Rudolph as Cynthia Utrom. So, about that, we don't get anything about Casey Jones, the Shredder, Karai, or the Foot Soldiers, which means I'm imagining they're going to set up for a sequel. We got a trailer too, so we just had a trailer. I am very positive on this trailer. The aesthetic is very much Spider-Verse meets the Mitchells versus the Machines. A great aesthetic. Hearing the Turtles actually sound like they're teenagers really took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting it to work so well. I love hearing that. Very cool. Donatello has such a young voice. I was like, wow, that is surprising, but kind of cool. I like that they are all semi the same shape. I love when the turtles are like the same frame, but they have unique builds within that frame, which is kind of exciting to see. I do not like when one of them's like 6 feet jacked up beefcake and the other one's like a scrawny little thing. Keep them relatively the same shape. Bigger heads, smaller eyes, you can change all that, but keep them the same shape. It looks cool. They want to be like internet famous, just kind of like go online, which makes sense for today's teens. That's the thing I've been fascinated by, is there's always been like this perpetual state of motion where the turtles are trapped within like 90s and 80s nostalgia culture. Letting them grow up in like the 2020s, which is kind of what we're seeing happen in this movie, is genuinely exciting and cool. I think that's going to be a really fun thing to see. The animation looks fluid. The jokes landed for me. I do like all of the jokes we saw when we see them beating the Psy around and it gets stuck in Donatello's leg. I think that's funny. Everyone's just kind of freaking out. It works for me. They're acting like kids. They're acting like teenagers, which is not something we see that often. It's kind of cool. It is different than what I'm used to, but I'm for it. I'm excited to see how that's going to go. It's going to be fun. We have big plans for the Ninja Turtles coming up on this channel, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be pretty sweet, if you ask me. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about Peter Pan and Wendy and the Haunted Mansion adjacent stuff some more. That's right, everyone. We're talking about the world of Disney live-action remakes. I was sitting down the other day, saw the trailer for Peter Pan and Wendy, saw the trailer for the Haunted Mansion, and just remembered something, that this year alone we have those 2 movies, and we have Snow White, and we have The Little Mermaid. And then next year's probably gonna be the Lilo and Stitch one. And then at some point they're doing Hercules. And then there was some other shit announced, right? I just... What are we doing? I mean this in the most plain, simple way I can imagine. What are we doing? I can't imagine... this is worth it, right? Like, emotionally worth it? Wouldn't it be easier just to release the movies again for an anniversary in theaters as opposed to dumping $200 million into them? Now, I say that fully aware that a lot of these have made money. Lion King made a buttload of money. The Beauty and the Beast one did okay, I think. Aladdin did good? Did Aladdin do good? I don't remember, because I don't care about that one. I don't care about half of these. I think the last one I saw was, like, in full, was Pinocchio. But I also, before that, have just seen Jungle Book, Cinderella. My 2 favorites are Jungle Book and Cinderella, by the way. Beauty and the Beast I did see. And then I feel like there's another one I saw, like a real one. They're all bad, though. Like, it's stupid and dumb, and I hate that we're doing it. I can't justify watching the Lion King movie. I could probably justify, like, watching Mulan or something because it's like a big sweeping epic, so I could justify that. But there's no part of me that wants to sit down and experience the Lion King with worse voices and worse graphics where they don't emote properly. No part of me wants to do that, so I just don't understand why we want to go down this rabbit hole still. Because $1 billion is $1 billion. And the public doesn't care. Does a kid born in 2015 who would be 8 years old this year care about a movie made in 1992? Do you think they would want to watch that or the new one made in 2019? That's what I want to know. The truth is, I hate everything. And I don't want to spend... Like, this is a topic we could get into another time. Like, what is this about? Is it just about, like, honing nostalgia and weaponizing it so you have people remember your brand as opposed to experimenting to make something new? Is it just that we want to keep our IP in this zone so we don't have to push it to the public domain and have people forget about our property when other ones exist? Is that it? I saw Christopher Robin too, right? But that's hardly like this, you know? I just hate every second of living because of this stuff. Did they do that Skarsgård Tarzan? Was that a Disney movie? I don't remember. I just hate every second. I hate waking up and seeing articles like, Zach Galifianakis to play Pleakley in the Lilo and Stitch movie. That's appropriating gay culture, honey, and he should be the one that eats sandwiches, okay? But he wasn't in the movie. I had a whole conversation with somebody about this. I hate every second of this. Disney's ruining everything. I hate it. What was the last, true original idea Disney really had? Raya? Because now we're doing Frozen 3, Zootopia 2, Inside Out 2, Toy Story 5. Elemental should be good. I also think we're a couple years away from DreamWorks making their How to Train Your Dragon live action movie and then Pixar being like, but we could do The Incredibles though in 2027 or some shit. I hate every second of this. Let's talk about some shit for a minute, you know? Let's just talk about some shit. I'm exhausted by this. This is a topic I solely picked because it's easier just to talk about it now than to have to think about it later. I wonder if we're going to see a cultural breaking point with these. It could be, no, The Little Mermaid's going to do good. I think it's going to be Snow White. If Snow White is bad, I think these are going to stop. But either way, I have a list of maybe 10 topics on here. Properties that Disney owns. Old and new, theme park attractions, cartoons to do the Chip and Dale thing. These are properties I realistically see Disney making into live-action properties. Now, I say that these are not the only ones they didn't do. There's some I specifically kept off the list because I don't think they're going to do them. Things like the animated Robin Hood. Why would they do that? Just don't do it. Just make a real Robin Hood then, you know? I kept off Princess and the Frog because they're doing an animated show with it. It's going to be the new Splash Mountain. I don't think they want to do anything with that again. So here are 10 properties owned by Walt Disney Studios that I could realistically see being turned into live-action properties within the next 5 to 10 years. So imagine, if you will, 2028 to 2033. These are the live-action movies coming from Disney Studios. The first one, of course, The Black Cauldron. It's amazing that I put this one first because I watched it again recently. I love this movie a bunch, not just because the character and I share the same name, but I'm not actually named after Turon in this movie. I just think it's a good movie. The animation is fluid. It's got cool looking characters. It's got my favorite cartoon pig ever. And that is a weird sentence to say because there's a lot of good cartoon pigs, actually. If I were to rank every pop culture pig, my top 3, number 3 is Wilbur, number 2 is Babe, and my number 1, my best time gal, my favorite little lady, my favorite pork chop, is Henwen. I love Henwen. She's just the key to everything and she doesn't do shit. She's so cute. And Taran's a good character because he's just I want to be a knight. And I'm you telling me you did 2 Maleficent movies and didn't think for a minute to do a Black Cauldron reboot? You have a Scary Skull character as your villain. A princess that you can modernize up however you want to. You cast a young, handsome man as the lead. Get your freaking Tom Hollands in there to be Taran. And it works fine. Why you haven't attempted this one, I don't understand. Even though it's a forgotten property, it still feels like one they'd want to pull out of their ass sometime. Same with The Sword and the Stone. And yes, I would imagine completely that Disney would want to have their own Arthurian legend story. You know, that to me makes perfect sense that they'd want to keep that character and that story alive. So I find it weird that they haven't done it. You know, it's Merlin, it's Arthur, it's all of the characters. Why they haven't done it? Disney still has at like their parks, like this sword you can pull out from the stone. Why they haven't attempted it is beyond me. Like a big fantasy like that, you could own Disney because nobody else has done it. You could own your own version of the Arthurian legend. You know, a young kid pulls the sword from the stone, helps people. It's fun. Now, saying this one too, I am fully aware of Merlin being a lead character in that new Disney Dreamlight Valley game. I know that solely because my sister loves that game more than anything, and she talks to me about it all the time. And I'm like, Merlin is a lead in that game, but there's no development to make Merlin a lead character in a action adventure fantasy movie in live action. You could get just like Pierce Brosnan or some old guy to do it. Just pick one of it. You got like a whole cadre of them. Pick one. Shove them in there. I think we're going to see both of those at some point. Maybe once we get out of this era where they do all the princesses, we're going to see like the fantasy heroes come back. So those are ones I realistically see happening. Another one I realistically see happening within the next 10 years is Frozen. I do think we're pretty damn close to Frozen being next on the list. I know that property is getting a third movie, but if we run out of princesses, because let's be real, we're not going to do Pocahontas. We're not doing Tiana. You know, why would we do the princesses of color? You know, so Frozen, another white girl complaining about the cold. I like Frozen a lot. I really think that first Frozen movie is fantastic. I do not like Frozen 2. We're doing it. They've been talking about it, I think, since it was released. How could they update that? How would the snowman look? How would the reindeer play off? They've been talking about it. There's no doubt in my mind that they've been talking about doing a Frozen live-action movie. Now, who do you get to play Elsa? Sydney Sweeney? Dove Cameron? Who else is Peyton? What's the Peyton from Cobra Kai? Peyton List, right? Is that her? Get one of them in there. Who do you get as Anna? What's the opposite of Sydney Sweeney? I don't know. I don't know any actors of that age. It's weird. I only know Sydney Sweeney because she's going to be Barbarella. What's the other character? What's the other actress that's in Madam Web? The other young one. Isabel Merced? Yeah, we'll get her in there. Sasha Calle, maybe? I don't know. Why am I going like Latina for Anna? Either way, Tom Holland as Kristoff. Oh, it's fantastic. We're going to see that one. Another one I think we're going to see going straight to Disney Plus is Fox and the Hound. Now, they did that Lady and the Tramp movie with Tessa Thompson and Justin Theroux. It premiered on Disney Plus when it launched 4 years ago. Do you remember when Disney Plus was announced? Oh, that was a crazy time. They're going to do Fox and the Hound. They have to. Like, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they do Fox and the Hound? Like, it's just a simple thing. You pretend the dogs are real, and you pretend the fox is real. You get Tom Holland to voice the fox. It's easy peasy. And it makes complete sense that'd be one they'd be looking at doing. Same with one of my favorite Disney movies, The Aristocats. I have such a soft spot for The Aristocats. I can't explain it. I just love these stupid cats. I said time and time again, Thomas O'Malley is a hunk, a hot piece of ass in the cat world, and Duchess is cool. They're cute and fun. Like, just think about the TikTok sensation that the three little kittens could be, the clips we could pull, the music we could play. Who doesn't want to see singing cats, is all I'm saying. We would not, of course, go racist because we're mature people. Sometimes I find it amazing that sometimes the racist cats are still on the poster for this movie. But are you telling me You know, who's like a street tough guy today? Do you get Pedro Pascal to play Thomas O'Malley, and then like a prim proper person who'd be like the counterpart to play Duchess if we were to do that, you know? Someone that just exudes positivity and that energy. It's fun, man. I don't know. Do you get like what's that play that Oscar Isaac and Rachel Brosnahan are doing? Do you just get them to like reprise their chemistry for this? Do you just get Oscar Isaac to be Thomas? Do you get Chastain to be Duchess? Probably. Look, make them realistic cats. I think it works more for this universe than other ones. But that's not me saying a lot because I just like jazzy cats. I just love it. It's fun. I think it's cool stuff. I do believe we're going to see this one. I believe we're going to see all of these. But it's just insane that we haven't seen this one yet. Is that weird to say? I don't know. I think it's coming up. Another one that I do think is going to happen soon. Not as soon as some of the other ones, but soon. Maybe they've even announced this one and I completely forgot about it. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. They're going to do it, right? Like that's like the other one of that era that's kind of forgotten. That would make sense for them to do. Because it's like Tom Holland as the Hunchback and you get like a Zendaya or some hot person to be Esmeralda. Is that her name? Yeah, right? I don't remember. I haven't seen that movie in maybe 2 decades. I don't watch it often. But it's like the last one of that era that's been like untapped into because we're not doing Pocahontas. We're not doing The Great Mouse Detective. You know, like this is just the next one. That makes sense. I don't know. I feel like that's coming sooner than later too, where it's just like, well, we can get some guy, turn him hot at the end, get some cool people in here. And you could get, this is the one that has Jason Alexander as the gargoyle, right? You could get him to come back. I know people are saying they want DeVito to come back as Phil in Hercules the movie. You could get Jason Alexander to come back as the gargoyle. I think he'd do it. He's still kind of like in the wheelhouse for that company, right? I think so. I believe it's going to happen. It makes sense. Now I got a wacky one that I wanted to throw in here just because I desperately want this to happen for the absurdity of it, and you can pick however you want to do it, Disney. But let's remake in live action The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Do you remember this movie? I don't. I just look at Mr. Toad and I'm like, are you telling me we haven't attempted to do that in a worse looking style? He looks disgusting, and there's like the Sleepy Hollow feel in here. Where it's Ichabod Crane, right? Like that's what he actually is. I think it's just like a series of shorts, like, and it's like the Toad is explaining them. I don't know. Let's see here. Disney Animation Wizardry, The Wind in the Willows, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow together in one fabulous adventure, available in its original theatrical format. Hang on to the wild motor car ride of J. Thaddeus Toad as he drives his friends Mole Rat and Angus McBadger into a worried frenzy. Then to meet the spindly Ichabod Crane, who dreams of sweeping beautiful Katrina Van Tassel off her feet. Okay, so here's what you do. Both of those, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, get Tom Holland. You get The Wind in the Willows and that. And then if you wanted to, get, Thaddeus Toad, Mole Rat, and Angus McBadger, and have them just like narrate a thing, like a series of like Twitch streams or something. Get like a VR headset, put somebody on it, and they're like mocapping. What's the Angus McBadger, and do that. I think I saw this when it premiered on Disney Plus, and I was like, I gotta watch an old Disney movie to justify buying Disney Plus. And then I have no recollection of it, and I'm just like, this is just shit, isn't it? But let's do it. Sleepy Hollow, sure. The Wind in the Willows, sure. Tom Holland as the frog, I don't care. Get somebody as the frog. Let's just make content forever. I've been saying it since I was a child. Content forever. never stop making stuff. It's awesome. Pretty cool. Wow, it's only 68 minutes. I'm looking at like the VHS cover. Wow, that is cool. 68. Can you imagine going to a movie theater today and watching something that's 68 minutes? I would never go home. It's a Golden Globe award. It won a Golden Globe for Best Cinematography in 1950. No, it didn't. No way it did. Who would? I don't care. Let's talk about some other stuff. So those are like the movies that I think we're going to see. The ones that were like, they're based on movies that they've already made cartoons of. Now I have a couple based on original cartoons from the Disney Channel, or just Disney in general, and a theme park ride. So let's start with the theme park ride, because the Pirates franchise was successful AF, because Jungle Cruise exists, because we're doing Haunted Mansion again, and we're doing Big Thunder Railroad. Don't forget that Bert and Birdie are doing Big Thunder Railroad. Do you remember that? The talents behind Hawkeye doing Big Thunder Railroad mountain thing. So what if instead of those, we hop along the road to the other amusement park and we climb a big old mountain and make a movie called Expedition Everest? Sells itself. Just Jungle Cruise on a mountain. The Yeti is the bad guy. It's a comedy if you want. Get a leading man of today, a Tom Holland if you will, and stick him on a mountain, and you just make a movie out of that. They own it. They own Expedition Everest. You could easily do like a Matterhorn thing where you have people, sliding down the side of a mountain with the Yeti chasing them. Seems easy to me, Disney. I'll write the damn thing. If you want me to, I could do it. I don't think it'd be hard. I don't think it'd be worth it, but I don't think it'd be hard. I think it'd be kind of fun. Makes sense, If you want Disney, just saying. I feel like we just need more Bigfoot media today, I feel like we're just like lacking in our Bigfoot, Yeti, Sasquatch media, and we're desperately vying for something to fill that void. It may never come, or maybe it will. I just hope we get there eventually where more content like this can exist. I just want more Yeti stuff. I could do an entire video talking about Bigfoot and offspring thereof. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Instead of that, why don't we head over to the playground, because we're in the 5th grade and we could make a Recess movie based on Recess. TJ, Spinelli, Gretchen, Mike, Gus, Vincent. Yeah, that's all of them. Do it. Come on, it's cool. I talked to you about this franchise too when I did like my what's the next Riverdale? You tell me you couldn't find awkward looking kids to make this into like a movie or something? I just think it'd be interesting. I wanted to throw it in here just solely because I like it. I like stupid stuff like this. I think it'd be kind of fun. But the one I think the one I want more than anything, and the one I'm genuinely surprised by, I think there has to be legal reasons for them not to do this, is gargoyles. Are you telling me there's nobody in the Disney company that's looking at gargoyles and being, that would be a really good movie? The first couple episodes of that cartoon are the movie. It starts in like olden times. They get like turned to stone. They emerge on the top of a skyscraper in New York. Are you telling me that can't be a movie? That premise alone. You have franchise potential. You have merchandise potential. I know a lot of people that would pay a lot of money for some merchandise of Goliath and Broadway and Brooklyn and Lexington and Hudson and Bronx and the girl... not Alicia, what is her name? Angelica. I'm going to have to look it up. I hate that I'm forgetting this. I know people in my life who are going to shit on me if they hear I cannot remember the female lead of this universe. I was way off, wasn't I? Yep. Either way, pretty cool. Alyssa, one of those names. Get Demona in there. You know, Xanatos, get them all in there. Hot people. It's cool. Are you telling me we couldn't do it? I think we could. You could even skew closer to just like a comedy. It doesn't have to be strictly dark, even though the characters are gargoyles and they stay on like the top of buildings. It doesn't need to be that dark. And we have the technology to make those look relatively okay. I'm not going to say perfect, but they'd look good. You know? I feel like after the success of something, say, Spider-Verse 2, Ninja Turtle Mutant Mayhem, I could see that leading to the potential for a Gargoyles movie in an animated style, a little more like graphic and creative. But we will see, won't we? Just saying, there's a huge potential for that to work, and I feel like you're afraid to take that chance because it's a little goofy or a little too scary for kids. Well, let me tell you something. Kids like scary stuff. You made a Doctor Strange movie for kids. I think they can handle this. You know? But if I were to look at that list and actively pick something I think we're going to see first, my 3 bets would be The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Fox and the Hound, and The Black Cauldron. The ones I don't think we're going to see from that list, Ichabod and Mr. Toad, Recess, and Sword in the Stone. But I don't know. I feel like they're going to do the Aristocats soon, and I feel like Frozen's also on the horizon, and everything's getting close, and the world sucks, and nothing makes me happy anymore, and Disney's ruining my life. I am tired, and I'm angry, and stop doing this, Disney. Just stop making these. Make something original. I'm so curious to see how Pleakley and Jumba are going to look in that Lilo and Stitch movie. Other than that, I have no desire for anything that was announced or said. This is all annoying. Everything sucks. Disney, no. Just no. I think that's it. I don't want to spend any more time in this world. I don't. I did not have fun in this world. Let's not talk about any of these ever again. So thank you all for watching this episode of the GeekWave. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.